In December of last year, in my most popular video to date, I said that I was going to take all of the Palo Alto Network certifications, the new ones, in the role-based certification framework within the next few months, is what I said. So it was December, so that would have been around March, April timeframe that I would have taken all, at the time, 6 of those certifications. Since then, there have been many changes in the Palo Alto Networks certification program, and I have not taken all 6 of those that I said that I was going to take. In this video, I'm going to talk about my status, which ones that I have managed to take, and what I plan to do next. And I'm also going to provide some updates on the certification framework for you so that you can plan your own journey as you try to get certified in Palo Alto Networks. I hope you enjoy the video. So when I started off my certification journey in December of last year for the various Palo Alto Networks role-based certifications, I actually started off making very, very good progress. So I released that video in mid-December of 2024, and then actually by the end of January, so within 6 weeks, I already had 4 of the 6 certifications that I said that I was going to have. So I was pretty much on track to do the few months that I mentioned. And I certainly could have taken the other 2 in that time frame. However, I think I got a little bit of cold feet, I suppose you could say, about some of the specialist certifications, especially because I did manage to pass the first 4, which I'll walk through my status here in a second. But that kind of caused me to take a step back and try to study a little bit harder. I then, in February, actually got pulled into writing one of those certifications, which I have a video on, and that was one of the new specialist certifications as well. So I ended up not taking those specialist certifications, those 2. I did take one specialist certification, and again, I wrote another one. So at this point, I do have 6. And I do have 1 in the network security category and 1 in the security operations category. I just passed the XOR engineer earlier this month. And so now I have achieved the 6 that I kind of set out to do, but there are a bunch of new certifications. So let me just kind of explain where I'm at, and let me do that by opening up this certification framework here that they have for the role-based certifications. So here you can see at the bottom they have the foundational certifications. The most basic one is the apprentice. This is pretty much nothing related to Palo Alto specific products, just more of a general cybersecurity certification. And that was the first one that I passed, so that one I did complete. Then the next one is I went and took the cybersecurity practitioner. It's a very high level overview of Palo Alto Networks technologies and how they work and how they support an organization's cybersecurity. So that was the second one. I completed that one. So then I did take the network security professional, which is at the time was called the network security generalist. I think you could probably go with either term. Professional probably sounds a little bit cooler, but generalist is a bit more accurate because it is kind of a general understanding of Palo Alto Networks' various cybersecurity products, and it kind of gives you a high-level overview of those products without digging super deep in. But there were some very technical questions on that particular certification exam, so it wasn't. It certainly wasn't super technical like you'd expect from a specialist certification, but you do need to know at least a little bit about how each of those products works, not just kind of what they are. So I'd managed to do that one, and then again, as I mentioned, we're approaching the point where I was about 6 weeks in, and within 6 weeks, I also completed the security operations professional, which covered the Cortex security operations products that Palo Alto has. And again, it is a little bit more detailed, so there were some technical questions in there about how the products actually work, not just kind of high level, like what does this product do, what kind of problems does it solve. That would be more this cybersecurity practitioner. This did talk about some of the implementation within the products themselves. All right, so then as I mentioned in February, I achieved, I suppose I should say, my first specialist certification. That was a network security analyst, and I did not take that exam. I helped write that exam, and as part of the subject matter expert policy, you could call it. If you're chosen as a subject matter expert to help write one of these exams, you achieve the certification without actually having to take the test. So I achieved that one, and then the one that I had basically a 6-month break. So that was in February of last year. I had a 6-month break and didn't do any Palo Alto Networks certifications between February and this month of August. And that's where this month of August, just last week actually, I achieved the XOR engineer. And these are the 6. So in some sense, I mostly did what I set out to do. I'd wanted to take these foundational ones, these 2 generalist ones, and then one of each of the specialist certifications. When I made that video, if you don't remember, the only specialist certifications that existed were this one, the Security Service Edge Engineer, and this one, the XSIAM Engineer. So these are some new ones. There's an XSIAM Analyst, 2 XDR certifications in Cortex, and then there's also these other specialist certifications, the Next Generation Firewall Engineer, the SD-WAN Engineer, and then the Network Security Analyst that I helped write, as I mentioned. So, one more. There's also the Cloud Security Professional. So in addition to these generalists, or also known as professional, now known as professional level exams, there is now a Cloud Security Professional certification, which focuses on Palo Alto Networks cloud security technologies that used to be called Prisma Cloud. Now that's part of Cortex. That's why it's also green here. So there's Cortex Cloud is Palo Alto Networks cloud security technologies. So what do I plan to do next? So if you haven't heard, I started a new position. So I'm now a specialist. I used to be a sort of like a general cybersecurity consultant. I had specific customers, and I worked with those customers on pretty much anything Palo Alto Networks. So it kind of made sense for me to learn as much about various Palo Alto Networks technologies as possible. And yeah, but pretty much I could support customers with any of the products, any of our products that they might be interested in, or any use cases that they might be interested in using one of our products to help them solve a problem. I could do that. I have moved into a specialist role now, and so now I'm actually focused particularly on network security, and even more particularly on Secure Access Service Edge. So with that in mind, I'm definitely going to be preparing for this one. And if you didn't know, I also do a lot of work with the firewall. I do a lot of YouTube videos, training on the firewall. And this network security analyst did have pieces of the firewall, specifically things that you might find in like the policies or the objects tab. But actually setting up the firewall, doing like VPN tunnels, networking, device setup, things like that, that's all going to be covered in this next generation firewall engineer. And so I also definitely plan to do that one. This SD-WAN engineer, I think I probably will do this at some point, but I don't have a firm plan to do that right now. And I probably don't even have the tools set up, to be honest, to study for that right now. I could easily, set them up and get them, but right now I think that's a question mark, so that's where I'm going to put on that. As far as the Cortex certifications, since I am a network security specialist, there's really I don't want to say there's no point. I mean, there's obviously a point, of course, but I think that I'm not really going to be able to prioritize any of the Cortex specialist certifications. I was able to take XOR engineer because I have a lot of prior experience with XOR. But to be honest, I would have to learn a lot, spend a lot of time learning about XDR. And while I would certainly love to, I just have a lot of things going on. So I'm going to have to deprioritize all of these other Cortex certifications. And right now, I wouldn't even call these question marks. These are pretty much, there's no such thing as no, but there is a not now, and there's definitely a not now. These are definitely a not now. SD-WAN engineer is not right now, but I probably should be looking at doing SD-WAN engineer because that is part of the Secure Access Service Edge. So I definitely need to be, I'm kind of eyeing that one for the future, but currently have no plan to do it. All right, last one new one that I have not covered is the Cloud Security Professional, and I am going to plan to do this one. I definitely would like to have all three of these professional level certifications. I think that kind of as a consultant and engineer at Palo Alto Networks, it makes sense for me to have at least this level of understanding of all of our products. And so I'm going to plan to do that one. I can't say a specific order that I'm going to do these three in right now. I won't commit to a specific order, but I will say that the one that I'm most actively preparing for is the Security Service Edge Engineer here, and that's because that's my new job is primarily focused on configuring things with Security Service Engineer. So I've been looking at the blueprint as kind of a guide of everything that I need to know, that make sure that I'm able to set all those things up. So I would say most likely this will be my next one, because that's the one that I'm focused on. Whether or not I then kind of focus on next generation firewall engineer, cloud security professional, I'm not 100% sure right now. So probably like 90+% likelihood that this is the next certification that I attempt, will be the security service engineer. The other kind of major update within these certifications, other than all the new certifications, is that there is and the naming of generalist professional, is that there is now a sort of a renewal policy, in the sense that once you get one of these higher level certifications, your certification expiration of the lower ones does extend. So it'll be 2 years after once you get the higher level certifications. So for example, if you passed cybersecurity apprentice last year, and then you pass network security professional today, then they will now both expire 2 years from today, assuming you achieve this one today. And then that continues up the levels. So then if you get network security analyst, next month, then all three of those will expire 2 years from next month, right? From the time that you pass sort of the highest level. That doesn't, of course, work across these. So if you pass network security analyst, that will extend your network security professional, but it wouldn't extend your network security, your security operations professional, for example. So just a couple new updates in that certification framework. I have found this very rewarding. I'm definitely happy that 8 months later I did achieve my goal of at least 6 of the certifications. Some things have changed, but I do plan to continue to take these certifications and to continue to educate you about the ones that I do take along the way. I also am going to continue to make all of my content with the demonstration videos. I've found that to be super duper educational when I go on Reddit and various people ask super duper in-depth and interesting questions. I really like to go in and solve those. And I found that that's just made me more intelligent about Palo Alto Networks products. And sometimes it comes up in the certification exams that, because I have that experience solving those problems, I'm able to apply that during the exams. And then of course there's my day-to-day work experience. But I really find those Reddit things to be particularly interesting, and they make really good video content. So please keep watching out for those videos if you find that more technical content interesting. If not, then I will see you in the next video when I review one of the certifications, whichever of those 3 that I take next. And I am looking forward to seeing you in that video.